Hey everyone, this is Saeed. Welcome to Messy Growth. So most founders raise VC money and end up on a treadmill. Grow fast, burn cash, raise again, repeat. Some make it, most don't. Maciej Sawicki, today's guest, chose a different path. After raising about $4 million and building inStreamly to 150,000 streamers and brands like Samsung, Disney, and PlayStation, he did something most founders won't. He walked away from growth at all costs and chose profitability, something I'll really want to dig deeper into. Today, inStreamly is fully remote, fully profitable, and fully independent across 15 different countries. No more VC treadmill. But Mach is not a typical founder. He's been in gaming for over 20 years, co-founding Headshot TV in 2005, streaming esports before Twitch actually existed, hosting shows with over 500,000 viewers. He's seen it all, done it all. So today, we're going to talk about what it's like to choose profit over growth, how to run remote teams across 15 different countries, why gaming is where real attention lives, and what founders get wrong about scale. Maciej, welcome to the show.
Thank you very much, Said. A perfect introduction. I'm excited.
Absolutely. No. Thank you. I was really excited as we were talking before we started the show that I like to do some research about our guests. And with you, it was very easy because you have a lot of content on LinkedIn. So a lot of the questions that are coming in, I'm really excited about it. But what I do want to do is kind of like rewind the clock a little bit and take us back to 2019 when you started inStreamly. What problem were you trying to solve? And why did you think you were the right person to solve it?
Well, I was a streamer myself. So basically, I've been streaming for quite a long time already and been, let's say, top 30, maybe top 40 Polish streamer. What means that basically I had a viewership of anything like 300, maybe 400 viewers every stream, what is a lot, I would say. But it really didn't mean that I was able to monetize the reach. All the brands' money, the sponsors' money, were only for the biggest streamers, let's say top 10, maybe top 20. So I thought like, okay, but why? And I started to work on a solution that would allow the smaller streamer, the long tail of streamer, to get a portion of the sponsorship money. And this is how it started.
That's fantastic. I do have a question regarding streaming. I've spoken to some of them, and they just genuinely enjoy streaming their work, playing video games. Do you believe that when money gets involved, streaming or anything, an activity that is supposed to be fun stops being fun, not that you have to monetize it?
Well, that's a good question. Some people say that don't treat hobby as your job, because then you will stop liking this. It will just become your job. So for some people, yes, for some people, no. It really depends whether you are forced to do it or not. I would say that definitely there are some streamers that are very much tired. If you want to be in the, let's say, top 50 of streaming in any country you choose, you need to be streaming nearly every day for at least 4, but preferably 8 to 10 hours. So this is a hustle. This is a lot. So people get tired, but because they invested so much into this, into streaming, they definitely didn't have like a second job or anything. They are in a position where either they keep doing this and earn good money, or they stop and there's no more good money. So definitely some of the streamers are very much tired, for sure.
Yeah. Have you ever been a victim of, or at least been in a circle where a lot of the folks complained to streamers like, hey, get off your ass and go out and go get an actual job? Do you feel like that it is very frustrating for you now, knowing and telling me the fact that how long it takes every single day to be able to do this repeatedly, day in and day out, to be a successful streamer?
Well, I think that the story of some people telling you not to waste time on gaming is more something that we as a generation understand. I mean, you and me. My parents used to tell me like, stop playing that much because this is a waste of a time. They didn't really understand and couldn't understand that this is a passion that can bring me some tremendous opportunities. For people living today, that's obvious that gaming is a business, that is a journey, it's a career path. But still, there is a lot of people wasting time, like their time invested into games or streaming will not lead them to anything profitable. So That's a tricky question, but definitely I think that many streamers who stream for like 10 or 12 hours a day, they do hear from their friends, from their family, hey dude, stop doing this. This is ridiculous.
Yeah. I totally agree with you on that
Because
front.
also look, it's like this. So we speak of the top 20, top 50 that earn good money on streaming, but there is like 500 people in Poland streaming at least 6 hours a day, and most of them does not earn money you would consider good at all. So if you want to be the top one or top 50, you need to act like the top 50 in terms of the time commitment.
Yeah. I guess it's like the same with any job, hobby, / any project you pick up.
Yeah.
You have to devote a certain number of hours at it. It's kind of like people saying that I'm very good at League of Legends. Yeah, you're good at it, but to become a professional, you really have to invest, learn the tactics, and
Yeah.
have to invest time day in and day out to be successful at any different venture, right? For the most part. So yeah, streaming is not different. I guess switching gears a little bit, you raised $4 million in VC funding, then made a deliberate choice to stop chasing growth and focus on profitability. That's not something you see very often, and it is, I guess some would say, a controversial way of doing things. Sure, let's stick with that for a minute. Most founders can't do that. The VCs won't let them entirely. How did you pull that off without pissing everyone around you?
Okay. What do you mean the VCs won't allow them to do so? How do you see this?
In the sense that VCs want growth, right? If anybody's, for instance, if I'm investing in a business, I want explosive growth. If you don't want explosive growth, don't take VC money. Just go to the bootstrap route where you're putting your money where your mouth is. But if a VC, essentially, that's kind of like the standard VC route that I've worked with companies, how they go through. If the VC's monies are in, they're looking for an exit, and it better be a good one, and it better be a fast one.
Yeah. Okay, so I like the way you described our path, saying that we made a choice not to fundraise anymore and turn to the profitability path. Well, that's not true, but I like the fact that it looks like this from outside.
Yeah.
So that's kind of a long story, but I do think that we have enough time, so I will just start.
Please.
So it was like 2019 when we started, and it didn't really look like, let's say, a unicorn. It was a gaming company, streaming company. Definitely there was a problem we could solve, but there was no, let's say, a long line of investors willing to give us money. And then what happened? Obviously, COVID. And COVID changed everything. And most importantly, from our perspective, it changed the way people started to spend their time and money. So basically, you couldn't go outside to the restaurant, you couldn't go play football, because of the lockdown. The thing you could do was playing games and streaming games. So suddenly a lot of people thought like, oh my God, how long is the lockdown gonna be? Maybe like 2 years, 3 years, 4 years. So including the investors who had the same thoughts, and the VC, the private people, started to put in a lot of funds into this space. I mean, gaming, streaming, game dev, and it started kind of a bubble. Early 2020 or mid 2020, we fundraised for the second time, and within few months, our valuation grew from like 1.5 million euro to over 10 million euro.
Wow.
So that was something, and there was a lot of interest coming from the investors. And then, well, in 2022, we clearly see that it's not going to last for a long time, that the valuations in the area of gaming, well, they are quite a bubble, I would say. And it's not only about inStreamly, it's about everything, including the big studios, the game dev studios producing the biggest titles. Like everyone knew that, hey, this is very pricey, and there's no way we're going to get our money back from these investments. So there was like a very big crisis in the gaming and game dev. There was also like the invasion of invasion on the Ukraine, obviously done by Russia, and some other things that made the situation quite bad for inStreamly. We were like, end of 2021, we were to fundraise the Series A, and it went really good. But in March 2022, when the situation in Ukraine exploded, we basically understood that no one is going to invest money into inStreamly right now. Not only because of the gaming situation, but also because of the fact that for many of the investors we were in touch with, there is not a big difference between Kiev and Warsaw. It's like, I don't know, 600 kilometers,
It's a
very
pawn jump.
close.
Yeah.
Exactly. So we didn't fundraise the Series A. We had like a runway for maybe 10 months, and there were only two roads for inStreamly. Either to collapse, like many companies failed, it wouldn't be anything like strange in this situation, or to switch within a year to profitability, or at least to find a way to burn less money, get some additional money from our current investors, maybe get some extra money from some new investors, but definitely go on the path to profitability. And this is what we did.
Yeah. This is
So
a fascinating
it wasn't
story.
necessarily our choice. I wouldn't say that we decided to. Well, we were
Okay.
forced. And also answer your questions about the investors, why they agree, because they could not disagree. They could
Right.
say like, no, we don't like this idea. Okay, so in 12 money, write this off. The company won't exist.
Yeah. This is a fascinating story. I want to double click on something Maciej said, that there was 10 months of runway left.
Yeah.
What are you thinking when instances like that? I'm sure everybody listening to this can relate to the fact that when they have had a period of downtime,
Yeah.
where odds are against them, like Rocky music playing in the
Yeah.
background. What are you thinking? What goes through your mind? Because I'm assuming that is a very challenging situation.
Well, I was looking at this from a perspective of my expectations coming from the situation in 2021. We were thinking like, wow, this is going to be a unicorn. We are growing like crazy. Really, in terms of the users, we grew from 20,000 users in 2020 to nearly 100,000 users in 2021. In terms of the revenue, definitely it was like at least 4 times grow year over year. So we felt like this is big. We are really solving a problem. People want to pay for this. We are going to be very, very successful. And then you fail. Like, obviously, maybe not personally you, and you can say this is because of the market situation, but from the founder perspective, your business is you, more or less. So I felt really, really bad. Like I had the expectations, and then I had to move from thinking of myself like a successful founder, successful entrepreneur, to a founder that probably will lose the company within a year. So I felt very bad, obviously. If that answer your question, I don't know.
Yeah,
I felt bad.
100%. 100%. I've known some founders over the course of my career, and they would agree with you. Your business is kind of like your identity. I've met some execs who feel the same exact way. In hindsight, is that a good thing or a bad thing?
Well, it's a bad thing, but it's very difficult to avoid, because if you are successful, if your company is in a good situation, you definitely have this desire to treat this as your success. And you can only avoid feeling that your company success, your company failure is not about you, if you avoid feeling that your company success is you. So you can choose one. You need to, you really need to distinguish yourself from the company. And it's extremely difficult. People don't want to do it. And I don't really know if you can fully switch to a mode where you don't feel like your value, your identity depends on the business success you have.
Yeah. Looking back, if you could do it over again, would you have bootstrapped from day one, or was the VC money necessary to get you where you are?
Definitely it was necessary. So all the money we had allowed us to grow very, very quickly in the first 24 months. Really, the money allowed us to use the momentum. I believe that two most important things when it comes to startup is the timing, and even more precisely, a momentum, because
Yeah.
you don't gonna get a chance twice. So we had our chance 2020, 2021, and because of the VC money, we used it. We also made a lot of bad decisions, hired people we shouldn't hire, started ventures we shouldn't start. And looking at this from the knowledge we have right now, one could say, okay, so you could avoid doing this and then you would not need the VC money. But dude, it doesn't work this way. We could commit these errors and learn from these errors because we had the money that we could spend. Without the money, we wouldn't be where we are. But obviously, if someone can bootstrap, wow, amazing. That's great. But it wasn't extremely case.
No. As a founder, what do you look for in a VC when you're going VC hunting?
Well, not to be an asshole, that's pretty simple. Don't expect much, and then you're gonna be very happy. So all the smart money bullshit is a bullshit. I don't believe
Mm.
it. Maybe if you are like an unicorn from the US and you are surrounded with all the smart people doing the VC stuff in the US, you can find some people that will bring you additional value. In Europe, in Poland, I don't really think that smart money exists. No. All you should expect is not to choose a guy that's actually an asshole, and that's enough.
Yeah. Well, the VC space is tough. I know
Well, it is.
we don't know that from experience.
It is. It is. I should say that we do really have very good experience with the VCs we work with. Really, most of them do not harm the company, are not, let's say, are not very active, but we don't expect them to be active. But when we call them, they answer. That's important. We only have had like a single very bad experience with a VC in the time that was, let's say, very difficult for the company. So it was only one VC out of 6. But well, this is how it is.
Yeah. This is interesting. Shifting our talk a little bit away from VC, you run a fully remote team. You're very
Yeah.
proud of it. You operate asynchronously. I've read a lot of content on that front.
Yeah.
Most CEOs, when they say we're remote first, but still demand everyone to be online 9 to 5, your Slack has to be green. What does async actually mean at inStreamly?
Yeah. So this is what I know. I think that the single most important misunderstanding around asynchronous company is that people are never able to meet, to be at the same time, because each of the person works from different place, from different times. But it's not true. It's not possible. Well, you only have like 24 hours. That's quite a short period. And then if you run a company that hire people from, let's say, 5 different time zones, it gets a little bit tricky. But
Sure.
in Streamly, we are asynchronous, meaning that we don't expect people to be at the same time available, but still all the people we hire, although we run international business, all the people we hire are from Poland.
Fair enough.
And if you think about the way people operate, most of the people have either a child or a dog. And that's enough to make you get up more or less, or at 7, 8, or 9 the latest, if your dog like mine is like very understandable. And that means that you're probably gonna log in early in the morning. So that's like a first slot. You can meet with people. And then some people we work in a row, let's say 5, maybe 6 hours and finish. And others will work like from 8 till 10, then go to play tennis, then work for 2 hours, then eat a dinner with your girlfriend, and work again, let's say at 6 p.m. This is still a lot of situation where you are going to meet your colleagues at work. So the one misconception is that if you run an asynchronous company, so you don't expect people to be at the same time, they are never going to be together. It's not true. They are together. Maybe not for all the time, but you don't need people to be at the same time, the same place all the time, not at all.
100%, especially in the amount of technology we have and decision. If there is a critical decision that needs to be made right away, I mean, you've really failed in terms of setting up different management layers, right? There should always be people that can help execute that without it becoming a bottleneck.
Of
This
course,
is pretty good.
The worst case scenario is that if something urgent happens, what doesn't really happens in the product companies, but let's assume it does.
Yeah.
You can call someone saying, hey, dude, can you log in, please? And the person says, hey, dude, I'm with my daughter in a doctor's queue. I can log in 40 minutes. Okay, perfect. Let's speak in 40 minutes. I don't know a company that collapsed because someone couldn't log in for like 40 minutes.
Yeah. And if you, like I said, if you have a bottleneck like that, you need to have some contingencies in place to begin with. That is just not a right way to operate.
And well, this is the single source of truth conception for the asynchronous companies. So like a situation where you need to call your colleague is like the single worst scenario you can imagine. Most of the situation in the asynchronous company, you should be able to handle because the entire knowledge of the company is over there. You can access. And also in the times of the AI agents, you can ask a question to this knowledge, like, hey, I'm in this situation. Have we ever been in this situation? What should I do? And then you got a clear answer. So with AI organizing the knowledge of the company, the need for all the people to be together in the same time is even less possible, I would say, even less demanding.
Redundant. I know you're going to have an opinion about this one because I saw a lot of your content. You write about building async teams, what works versus what doesn't. What's the biggest myth about remote async work that just drives you crazy?
Well, about remote, the one myth is that all the people want this, and this is the ultimate way to work. So all the people want it. That's true. And if you are in the recruitment process, you can barely meet someone that says like, no, it's not for me. I love office. Most of the people say, yeah, awesome. I'm going to work from home. I love this idea. But really, it's not for everyone. Like there is a big bunch of people that just need to spend time with other folks in the office. So that's the myth number one. And second, and I think that's the most problematic, is that you can run a remote and asynchronous company in a way that you run a company with an office, with the difference that you simply shut the office and it's done. Because previously, let's say you were using emails and Skype calls or like Google Meet calls to get all the things done. But suddenly, when you don't have the physical space, things get nasty. You need to organize everything in a different way. This is something most of the companies don't understand. And then they say, remote doesn't work. But the fact they didn't do much to make the remote work.
Absolutely. 100%. Switching gears one more time. There's just so much about you that I want to squeeze as much knowledge as I can. You co-founded Headshot TV in 2005. That's streaming esports before Twitch ever existed.
That's right.
That's very visionary or way too early. Which one was it?
Way too early. Only this. Like we were having fun as kids. We did something with technology because we are able to, but we didn't really understand what we built, how big can it become one day. So it was like a garage things done by kids without understanding the business context.
Similarly, you've been in gaming for just over 20 years. You hosted a Polish esports show with over 500,000 viewers. Then you built a company connecting streamers with different brands. What do most brands still get wrong about gaming market?
Well, a lot. You can say that it has changed over the course of years, and that's true, obviously. But still, most of the brands look at gaming as a way to reach a very specific group of people, like young male, maybe 19, 30, and that's it. And it's not true. If you look at people who play games and watch streams, this is a very wide group of people, like different people. And obviously, most of the ways you can choose to reach gamers allows you to reach the single biggest group, which is like 1934. But surprisingly, there's a lot of people that play mobile games that are over 60. And if you choose the right touch points, meaning the right games, you can really treat gaming as a very good way to reach the old people. But you need to understand that gaming as a touch point is very nuanced. It's not black and white. It has it has a lot of shades. So I would say this is the one misunderstanding in terms of the gaming marketing, is that we believe that gaming is a good way to reach people that are 19 to, or let's say 14 to 34 and male only. That's not true.
100%. You just co-founded a new game plus in September 2025. That's a few months ago. Why start another company while you're running inStreamly? Are you bored, or is this strategic?
Well, it's not a new company. So this is how we are organized. So let's go back to the 2022 situation I told you about. So the moment when we had to switch from the VC money to profitability. So how we did it? Basically, 2020, 2021, we spent a lot of money hiring a very expensive salespeople. And we've been basically building our presence in all the important markets like UK, France, and Germany. And it kind of worked, but obviously it was very expensive. So back in 2022, we had to fire all the sales team. And then we need to figure out how to grow without those sales team. Like, it's simple to say, fire those sales team, they are expensive, but okay. But who's gonna say?
Chicken and egg.
So, So what we did, we started to search for partners. By partner, I mean agencies that were interested to take our technology and build their own product in a particular market. So for example, we operate the biggest gaming platform in Brazil, but we don't hire Brazilian people. We deliver our technology to a company called Druid. It's a gaming agency who run inStreamly in Brazil. We do the same in France with Havas, the same with Omnicom in Germany. So we grow through partnerships, and we have like a local companies operating our software in particular markets. And in Poland, for a long time, we've been doing inStreamly as inStreamly. I mean, we had no partner that would be the operator of our solution. And we understood that we should rather keep inStreamly as a technology product company, not an entity that is working directly with the clients. Meanwhile, in Poland, because as you mentioned, I've been doing the gaming marketing for like 20 years, same with other co-founders, we really had been doing a lot of gaming stuff. By this, I mean helping brands to reach gamers. And we've been doing this under the brand of inStreamly. So in Poland, inStreamly was like you need gaming solutions for your brand, go to inStreamly. So the branding wasn't very clear. Internationally, it was about the product and technology. And in Poland, it was about, let's say, gaming services. So we kind of switched. We created New Game Plus, which is something like the Druid case in Brazil. Like we have Druid in Brazil, Omnicom Fuse in Germany, we have Havas in France running our product, and we also have New Game Plus running inStreamly product in Poland. So it's still the same company. It's not a new venture. It's just something that helps us keep the communication to the market clear.
Talking about New Game Plus, New Game Plus does Gaming 360, strategy, content, media, in-game activations. That sounds like we do everything. Is that actually a positioning, or you're still trying to figure it out?
Well, that's a simple take. Look, so you can definitely agree that for the major brands like PepsiCo, Netflix, Disney, or some Polish brands like Allegro or PKO BP, which are our clients, gaming is an important touch point. So if you are a marketer these days, you definitely want to reach the male target group. And the best way to do it, also the young male target group, is through gaming.
Sure.
And it basically means you are going to bring a tremendous part of your budget to this particular touch point. So we speak of situations where in Poland, those top brands spend millions of zlotys only on reaching gamers. So that basically means that you can't do it in a simple single touch point way. You need to use multiple touch points. You need to do a very good analysis. You need to have your own gaming strategy, a very good execution. So in fact, what we mean by gaming 360 is that we help brands to find the best ways to reach gamers. And it's not simple, it's complex, it requires a lot of effort. So this is our positioning. In one sentence, if you are a brand, you want to reach gamers, you can do it with us.
Yeah, it's fantastic. You said something earlier. You've been building companies in gaming for 20 years.
Yeah.
Have you ever been burnt out? If so, what pulled you out of it?
Okay. That's a funny question. I know that people tend to ask this kind of question, but I wonder why they ask it to founders and CEOs and not, for example, to gardeners. I've never heard a person approaching a gardener, working in a garden for like 20 years saying, are you tired? Are you burned out? Like, how can you be doing this for such a long time? And he says like, come on, dude, I love plants. I just keep growing my plants. And for entrepreneurs, that's kind of the same thing. You just keep growing your plants. The difference between the gardener and the CEO is that I don't know if you work in the garden a lot site or not.
I got a działka, so I have to work in the garden.
It's difficult to work like 10 hours a day in the działka because you get tired, because it's cold. You need to go inside and eat something. And in the entrepreneurship zone, like a startup founder, you are able to run 12 meetings in a row a day. You can work for like 12 hours. But well, basically, a lot of people doing this, and a lot of people saying that the hustle is only way to be successful. And that's true. If you have a business idea that allows you to sell the company within 3 years and then do nothing. But it's not true for most of the people. Most of the people will be just doing their stuff, growing slowly, because the single one most important factor in the business in terms of the success is the consistency and the patience. So you need to just be doing your stuff every day, a little more, a little more. So the answer is that if you are aware that building and managing companies isn't a sprint, it's a marathon. You're going to do it for like 20, maybe 30, maybe 40, years and you want to be healthy, both physically and mentally, then you need to work like a gardener, slowly, a little bit every day, understanding that you are managing not only the company, but also your forces that are limited. So I'm not very much tired, but maybe because I don't work very hard.
I doubt that to be the case. I think like
Why?
success,
Why do you
hard
doubt
work.
it? No,
Because I
come
feel
on.
like that to
That's
be
interesting.
successful, sure, luck definitely plays a role. But the fact that you're able to build a company and scale it, it requires a lot of tenacity, patience, hard work.
That's right.
Um, and it's not laziness, right? Laziness would just be just doing something without, consuming a lot of content or not doing something, not putting yourself out there. But to build a company, something that is tangible in a lot of ways, it requires a lot of hard work. It's just that your threshold for hard work might be higher than mine, but there is a lot of hard work that needs to be involved because it requires
Hmm.
consistency. It
What do you
requires
mean by
having to show
hard
up.
work? I'm not sure whether we understand the word in the same way. How do you understand the hard work?
So hard work for me is, say for instance you have a goal. Goal is to build a company and you want to grow it to $10 million.
Yeah.
And you want to grow it to $10 million. But for that to happen, you got to show up every single day, regardless of what weather is outside, how you
True.
feel, what problems
Yes.
companies facing, what the current world
Hmm.
affairs are. You show up. Probably your daughter is sick, your dog is sick, you're dealing with some, let's say, pressures from your family, what have you. There's money issues. You said it yourself. VC funding, there are external factors like wars, but you continue to show up. You put your emotions aside and you keep at it. You do those meetings. You talk to people. You don't let your bullshit creep into people's life. That's hard work. That requires a lot of
Okay.
mental fortitude that I believe not a lot of people practice
Okay.
or have.
Okay, this is hard, and I can agree that this is hard work, but most of the people understand the hard work in a different way.
Sure.
For them, to do the hard work is to work, let's say, 12 hours a day. 12 hours a day, yeah. And when I say I do not work hard, and I don't expect people in my company to work hard, that means that I don't expect that I will be working 10 hours a day.
Sure.
If we speak about working effectively, I probably work like 4 up to 6 hours if it's a good day. And I think that most of my best people effectively work maybe like 6 hours.
Sure.
But that's absolutely fine because over 50% of the people I hire work for over 3 years for the company. Like over 10 people out of 20 that was working with us in the 2020 are still in the company. And they have extensive knowledge about the problem we are trying to solve. They have a very good understanding of the industry. So I prefer to have a guy that is working 6 or 5 hours a day than to hire a guy that would be working like 12 hours a day.
Yeah.
But then after a year, he would say, I'm tired. This startup killed me. I have to leave. So
Yeah.
in this understanding, I do not work hard, but obviously my work is hard. And you mentioned one very important thing, and one thing I disagree. So let's start with the one important thing, the psychic, like the resilience, that the resilience meaning that there is a lot of bad things happening in the business, in your private life, and you just need to keep doing things. And I found a very interesting data saying that most of the startup founders said that their resilience is single one most important factor deciding about their failure or a success. And I absolutely agree. The one thing you said I disagree is that you said, hey, you're gonna have your daughter sick and maybe you feel very very sad because of something and you can't allow this from stopping you and you shouldn't really share this with people or with clients or with your team. I disagree.
Sure.
I believe that if you as a leader are able to make the vulnerability a part of your culture, meaning that you have the space to share that you are weak, that you are sad, that you are exhausted, then it really makes the entire team stronger.
Sure.
Because this is very, very, very human thing not to feel good. And if you can share this with your colleagues, that's something. So I believe that's very important.
Yeah, that's very powerful. For the most part, I agree with you on that front. I guess a lot of it depends. I guess it is easier when you're the leader to be able to build that kind of culture. But assuming, let's say, you're just a cog in a machine at a company of 500, and the culture is very brass tacks. You can't bring your stuff to work. Let's just put it that way. It becomes a lot more harder to be able to transmit that information upwards and say, man, I can't do it today. My kid is sick. Like I'm dealing with this stuff. Most people don't have that. They have that. Like, you got to put your 8 hours in and do your job, regardless of how you feel.
Fake. Which is a fake, because I do believe that one of the myths about the remote work, and you ask about the myths, is that people work on the remote 8 hours a day. They don't. You neither do it in the office. Like if you look at the person working from the open space, how many hours they really work like fully committed with the focus?
4 maybe. That's maybe huge.
And then the same boss says, like, when you work remotely from your home, you only work 4 hours a day. I know it. And you are just faking your presence, but by making the Slack light green. And that's absolutely fine. I think that if we would stop lying ourselves, that we as a human beings, we are able to stay in the full focus for 8 hours, that would be very good. If a leader understands this, that it's not about making your employee to be present, to be visible for 8 hours. It's about making him to work in the flow for 4 hours, like making him to work with a focus, with an intention for 4 hours, then these leaders are going to build successful companies.
Well, actually, the way you see things, I can already tell you're way ahead of the pack. Because a lot of founders, they don't think like that. They feel like you gotta work. You gotta lick the frog 8 hours a day or 10 hours a day because it's a must. I mean, how could you do it? How could you not do anything otherwise? Maybe they're right.
We will see. We will see. That's just the way I see the world. That's my answer to your question, why I'm not tired after 20 years of doing this. Well, that's my take. Is the take right? I don't know.
You'll find out, right? It's a journey that counts at the end of the day. I'm sure you have one hell of a story to tell 20 years from now. Sticking to that point, you went from a TV presenter hosting esports shows to a CEO of a profitable tech company. It's a weird career path, some would say. Did you plan any of this, or did you kind of like stumble into it?
Can you plan a career? Really, these days? I don't think so.
Sure, there's some fields that you can. Like, hey, I want to be a doctor. So if you're going to invest 8 years, 10 years, or like add 2 to become specialized, you are going to be a doctor, or you're going to be flipping burgers at Wendy's. I don't know. Well, you know what I mean? It's like there is that. Yeah. But in tech, it's a little bit weird. You can almost see, look at your story, right? You jumped from a completely different place, went into tech. The transition is a lot easier. So I'm assuming you stumbled into it, or you kind of like always wanted to have a company of your own where you get to call the shots?
Well, I always wanted to have my own company because I can't imagine myself being managed by a boss. So that's something I disagree. So I only have had a boss one time in my life for like 2 years. I learned a lot, but the one single most important thing I learned is that I don't want to have a boss. And obviously it doesn't mean you need to run a startup, a tech company. The thing is that I don't have a technical background, but I do have friends that are very good in the technical space. So I just found the CTO, and that's that simple. But looking at this from the career perspective, well, I would say that I'm a creative generalist. I very much believe in the idea of like generalist, that these are people that have very wide variety of skills coming from different spaces. And these kind of people, including me, we are very good in connecting dots. if you tell me there is a problem coming in the product space and you need to understand this, let's say for a tomorrow's meeting, I'm gonna dig deep into this, speak with 5 people, and when you see me on the meeting, you're gonna think, wow, this guy knows the field. But the next day, if you say, hey, Maciej, we have a problem coming from the HR department, and we have a meeting, the board meeting tomorrow, well, I'm gonna spend few hours working on this, and you're gonna see me on the meeting and you're gonna say like, well, this guy knows a lot about HR. So there are this kind of people like generalists that have the ease to move from one, let's say, discipline to another. We will never be like, let's say, experts. We will never be like the top 1% experts within this field, but we'll be good enough to smoothly operate with this kind of a problem. And I also believe that with AI, it got so much easier for generalists to really perform very good. And I'm one of them.
Yeah, this is fascinating stuff. I do want to ask you something. You talk about remote work, async work, and you write about it. Do you ever miss the office, or is it just nostalgia for something that wasn't actually great? Are there any trade-offs?
Never. I never miss an office. I did have an office in the company I sold in 2019 for like many years, and it really was such an energy waster for me. I don't know how to say it, that I have had to invest a lot of energy into being the boss, the CEO in the office. So I wasn't really happy as a person that had to be in touch with people. I felt like there is a lot of expectations coming from people and I need to handle this. And I don't really think that as a human being, I was very much prepared to the role that I had, like founder, CEO.
Yeah.
I do think that it changed over the course of years. Anyway, I was unhappy with the office. I was unhappy meeting these people, although I kind of liked it. And I don't think that I was a supportive boss, as I know some can be. So I think that I'm way better boss and manager and a CEO as a remote CEO. So I don't miss the office. I'm extremely happy I don't have one. If I want to spend time with people, very good. I go to the gym. I can set up a meeting with my friends, go to the coffee, discuss things. I can meet my employees. If only I want, I can arrange a meeting. If I want to meet my founders, I can arrange a meeting. That's clear, that's obvious. And then if it's not a must, if it's not the expectations, when I meet them, let's say once a quarter, I'm excited, I'm happy. That gives me a boost of an energy, but only if it's not a must.
I guess you got to find your own, what works for you and just run with it instead of trying to fight your own nature. And it seems like you have figured it out.
And that's why I said in the beginning, when you said, what's the biggest myth about the remote? I said that the biggest myth is that this is for everyone. It's not. You need to understand what kind of a player you are, and then to find a field that supports you as a player.
This is pretty important stuff. Fantastic. Talking about the 2019 company, exited company, Maciej Sawicki, what's harder, building a company or exiting one?
Definitely exiting one is more difficult. And I think that this is the reason why there is so many public narration right now on LinkedIn, how to sell your company. Because most people do it in a wrong way. And I did it in the same wrong way. So you should think of selling your company when everything is going well. When it goes wrong and you are tired and you want to get rid of this, basically it's not a good moment to sell. So we were running the company for like nine years with my friend in a very niche. We are producing video content for gaming and esport companies. So you can imagine that was really like a very narrow specialization. And it went quite good until we didn't want to do it anymore. Like we
Yeah.
felt we are tired. There are other things to do. Maybe I want to build a startup. It was me. And then we started to speak with potential buyers, and definitely the outcome was way worse than it would be if we did it like 2 years earlier. So I really think that building a company is simple because if you are an entrepreneur, that's something very natural for you. It's like gardening your plants. And if you want to sell it, you really need to know how to approach this. So that's why right now I think that my company, Streamly, is always for sale. If someone comes and say, this is the amount of money that I consider very, very, very good, okay, it's for sale, no problem. Like you said, if you are a VC-backed company, and you are always for sale. So it's kind of a different mindset. I'm not in a mindset of selling the company right now. We grew 2 times year over year. We are going to do around 1 million euro EBITDA this year and
Oh,
growing.
wow.
So I don't really think that is something that should push us into selling the company right now. But if someone would approach me selling, this is a very good offer for you, part of being ready to pay off your investors is to be ready to sell your company anytime you get a good offer.
You heard it here, folks. If you bring a Valiska with ice, Maciej will consider it.
Yeah, one Valiska not enough, but let's speak.
150,000 streamers use your platform.
Yeah.
Have you ever watched a stream and thought, why the hell are people watching this? Or do you genuinely
Yeah.
love all gaming content?
No, I'm tired with gaming content. Honestly, I've spent so much time playing and streaming games that I hate it. I don't do it anymore. Honestly, the only game I play nowadays is Fortnite. And I play this only because my brother, his wife, and their kids play this game. And
Yes.
for me to play this game with them is a way to socialize, is the way to spend time together. But it's not appealing for me anymore. So if you ask me whether I watch streams, I don't. I do treat streams as a area which is very interesting for me business-wise. I like the problems I see over there. I love the expertise level I do have in streaming. That's something I appreciate this. But streaming itself, it's not something I admire. Like, it's done. I've been there, I've done that. That's enough.
Interesting stuff. Last two questions before we head into our rapid fire round. Is there a classic video game that you love?
What do you mean by a classic video game? Like an old one?
Yeah, like for me, for instance, would be Age of Empires 2 and
Okay.
3. Like that for me was my childhood. And I don't have time anymore that much. But if I were to play
Okay.
one game, that is the game I would play.
Okay, so if we speak of single player game, that would be just Jackrabbit. It's about a rabbit that you play, or Little Big Adventure. So these are the two games. And if we speak of a multiplayer game, and I was always more of a multiplayer guy, it's definitely Rainbow Six. Rainbow Six is amazing. I love it.
Yeah, it's a fantastic game. Last questions. So 20 years in gaming, multiple companies, VC funding, pivot to profitability, now starting another venture. Are you done, or are you one of those people who will never stop building companies?
I'm a gardener. I'm happy in my garden. Like, I love it. I'm
This is
relaxed.
fantastic.
I'm doing what I like, and I just keep growing my plants. So I don't think that I will be done any day. What would I do?
Yeah. Well, watch streams.
Maybe.
All right. Well, Maciej, this is fantastic. Let's jump into a rapid fire round. It's quick
Okay.
questions, quick answers. Best advice you've ever received, business or personal?
Oof, a quick one. Okay, best advice I ever received was the one I mentioned before, like your company is always for sale.
That's fantastic. I'm gonna keep that in mind because a lot of people take that personal. Like, how dare you ask me to sell that? This is my baby. Um, Advice that you ignored but wish you had listened to.
Okay, a long pause. Mm, okay, my father told me that the important part of the university path was not the classes that I hated. And he said, it's okay to hate these classes, but you should do the networking stuff with your colleagues. And I wasn't in a position to understand this until it's too late, until I can't speak with those people anymore. And that was something I wish I would know.
Welcome to the club. What would you tell your younger self, say 7, 10 years ago?
Oh, calm down. Calm down. Like working 12 hours a day is the worst idea. If you feel like you have to do it, that basically means you don't. And you shouldn't.
Yeah, yeah. That's interesting. One ongoing challenge in your current work that keeps you up at night.
Oh, no, I sleep good. If something keeps me up at night, that's very, very, very bad. And I do everything to avoid this. I don't have one. I can answer what's the biggest challenge.
Sure, go ahead.
Uh, so the biggest challenge over the course of years is really being able to choose the right people in the recruitment process. So I do really think a lot about the fact that the recruitment process sucks. We don't really know much about the people, reading their CVs. We can't know them even if we run, let's say, 3 or 4 conversations.
Yeah, it's
It
not
says
enough.
nothing. It's a gamble. So I wouldn't say it doesn't allow me to sleep, but it gives me a sensation that because of the way the process is, we really depend very much on a luck, not on the skill. I wouldn't say that we as a society, as a group of people, we do have a skill of choosing the best people in the recruitment process.
Yeah, yeah. Well, there's a business idea for you. Fix the HR space.
That's right. That's a very difficult.
Yeah. Favorite restaurant, meal, or spot in Poland?
Okay. Restaurant, meal, or spot. Mm, But you mean like a spot that is referred to cuisine, to food,
No,
or
just a place that you enjoy. It can be anything, food, restaurant, or a place that you really enjoy.
okay, I enjoy Polish forest, and I do believe we should appreciate it more as a society.
Yes.
We should understand that it's not granted. We should spend more time in the forest and we should cultivate the space. So, hey, people, the best part of Poland is the forest. Appreciate this.
Well, here's your gardeners right there, right? Um,
It
Cultivating
is.
that. Is there a tool that you swear by and cannot live without?
Yeah, it's a ClickUp, a
Oh,
tool,
click
ClickUp.
out. Yeah,
Definitely.
interesting.
Like, I hate sending email. They are forbidden in the company, like for the internal communication. If you send me an email, you are dead. So
Yeah,
one tool I love is ClickUp. We use it a lot, and it really is the heart of the asynchronous company we run.
100%. Maciej, this has been fantastic, fascinating, and eye-opening. I really enjoyed speaking to you. Where can listeners find you? LinkedIn, website, community? Is there a project,
Yeah,
launch, or talk that is upcoming that you're excited about?
yeah. So definitely LinkedIn is the best way to follow me, as I have this commitment of posting daily. I do it from like 100 days in a
Oh,
row.
wow.
So that's something. That's the consistency we speak about. And I also run like a little show on YouTube together with my co-founder. The name is Maciej Sawicki. And we simply share our take on the business, on the asynchronous company and everything.
Yeah. Well, guys, like and subscribe to that channel and do consume that content. Maciej, it's been a pleasure. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you so much for being open to this. I really learned a lot, and I'm sure folks are going to learn a lot from this too. So if you got value out of this, folks, share it with someone who needs to hear it. I'll see you next week. Thank you.
See you. Thank you, guys.